Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Picture This Film Reviews. We are here on Thursday. It is review day. It's the moment you've been waiting for. We are here continuing our superhero genre to talk about The Shadow. The Shadow knows, but does the Shadow know what we're going to review? Or how we're going to review it, I guess I should say. Before we go into that, I'm Matt.
I'm Dan.
I am Kayla.
Welcome everybody. Guys, we just saw each other on Monday, but how are you?
We are good. We were wearing the same t-shirts, so don't be alarmed. We did change our clothes.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. We're good. We're good, you know. I mean, we got a different background. We both have different backgrounds today.
Ours is in progress.
Yes.
By the time you watch the next video, some changes will be happening in ours, and Matt's got the professional setup now because he's just leaving us little leaguers behind.
That wasn't intentional. It's just kind of happened that way.
We're the little engine that could. We're catching up.
You're the horse whisperer.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Shout out to everybody that's liking that video, yes. By the way, because we were just talking. It's growing insanely, and we don't know why. Either people love horses or people love Robert Redford. Either way, thank you. Guys, I know we don't usually do this, but I wanted to just bring it up. I saw The Samaritan on Amazon Prime with Sylvester Stallone. It's kind of a superhero thing, so it's kind of odd, but it's good. Like another one where I went into with low expectations because it's Stallone, it's Amazon Prime, and it's superhero. Not a combo that would really go well together.
And just to ask you the question, what's the premise of it? So,
you know the boy Jayvon Walton from Euphoria. He's a little boy. I forget his character's name, but he's the boy in the bathtub at season 2.
With the gunfight. He's also in Umbrella Academy.
Okay, so I didn't know he was in that. But okay, so he's kind of the other lead with Stallone in this. So back like 25 years ago or something, there was two superhuman beings. One was called the Samaritan, one was called Nemesis. And Samaritan was the hero, the good guy, and Nemesis was obviously the bad guy. There was a fire, and they both were thought to have perished. Fast forward 25 years later, this kid, Jayvon Walton, who I think his character's name is Sam, he thinks that his next door neighbor, played by Sylvester Stallone, is actually the Samaritan all these years later in hiding. And then things happen that I won't spoil. But I actually found myself enjoying it quite a bit. And it's got that short runtime, hour and a half, so I was able to breeze through it. And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. Like, that should have been, we did movies of the summer. That should have been my number 5. I didn't have a number 5. That was a good movie. I didn't even think about it. But check that out because it was worth watching.
No.
Did you guys see anything?
Beetlejuice. Watch Beetlejuice.
Oh, that's classic.
A favorite. Yeah,
which, if anybody's interested on where that's going for the possible sequel, the latest rumors on that were that Johnny Depp had been considered to be brought into it. They're going to bring back Winona Ryder and Matt's all-time favorite. Who's your all-time favorite Batman guy that played Beetlejuice, Matt?
It's showtime. Michael Keaton, of course.
Michael Keaton. So apparently they've signed on for it as long as Tim Burton came back. However, there apparently have been a ton of production delays and things of that nature. So will it ever happen? We're still hoping so. So it just seems like as of the latest news I saw from it was August the 12th. Still no news on the production side. So just keeping our fingers crossed that it does get rolling soon and something starts to happen.
I mean, at this point, the film critic in me says, do we need a Beetlejuice 2, especially now?
Exactly.
But the fan in me says, God, I hope we get this in. I hope we get it soon. Yeah. Because, Burton and Keaton aren't getting any younger. So, I mean, you can obviously hide Keaton with the makeup, but still, at some point, we're going to have Beetlejuice in a walker if we keep going.
It would be interesting if Johnny Depp was brought in as like a Beetlejuice like brother or something, or like, you know what I mean? Because I could definitely see him playing like an off the wall kind of Beetlejuice just like, you know, I don't know.
Well, the thing with that, it would be set for Johnny Depp. Like that would be his big break back into acting after
Well,
everything
no,
that's
he actually
happened,
just
right?
landed a role. I'm pretty sure, like a huge role. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to say a Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder reunion. That would be crazy. Okay. Yeah, we're
And not only that, but Johnny Depp and Michael Keaton have never acted together, but they both are like Tim Burton go-tos. Like Keaton's worked with Burton 3 or 4 times, and of course Depp's worked with Burton like 8 times or something crazy.
Yeah.
So to see them together in a Burton movie would just be like a dream come true for Burton fans.
Yeah.
We got Winona Ryder there too, so why not throw like Helen Bonham Carter in there? Just get all the big ones.
It's all Danny DeVito can come in and be somebody. I mean,
That's true. He could play the little, like he could come back as like the little reverend
Oh jeez.
that like is supposed to.
That officiated the wedding or tried to at the end of the Beetlejuice.
Oh my God. Okay. We're getting way distracted.
Yeah, went way down the rabbit hole. But speaking of rabbit, I did watch Alice in Wonderland because I'm continuing that Johnny Depp binge and watch that. That is what it is. We're talking about The Shadow, everybody. Another movie that it is what it is. We're doing the superhero genre. We're actually spinning the wheel today to find out what category we're picking next. Of course, we still got Kayla's pick, which she'll reveal at the end of this episode as well, what we're talking about next week. But then we're also going to find out what we're talking about in the future. So it was my pick. I picked The Shadow. I know this was not a movie that everybody was going to love. I knew this was not a movie that, made all the money and was a huge critical success, but it's a movie that I grew up with, and I'll get into that more here in a moment. But I'm going to turn it over to our stats guy, Mr. Dan. Do you have stats on The Shadow?
I surely do, Mr. Matt. So I'm going to do this in reverse because I usually end up doing these last, and I feel like sometimes I get lost and I can't find them. So here we go. Movie was released July 1st, 1994, with a content rating of PG-13. Falls under several different genres: action, adventure, crime, fantasy, mystery, and thriller. On IMDb, they gave this a 6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, a 34%. Metacritic, 50 out of 100, so not the top of a lot of lists. The box office, the budget for this movie was an estimated $25 million. The opening weekend in the U.S. and Canada ended up reclaiming about $11,713,000, while the gross in the U.S. was $32 million and gross worldwide at $48 million. Typically, what end up doing, also talking about some of the actors that are involved in the movie: Alec Baldwin being the lead role, John Lone, Penelope Ann Miller, and Peter Boyle, just to name a few. I should also throw in that Ian McKellen was in this, and Tim Curry, just because they're huge actors and we wouldn't want to skip by them. Overall, as far as the synopsis for this film, I'm going to try to read you, but we're looking at a man who has a lot of evil in his heart, and he is given the opportunity to redeem himself. In 1930s New York City, the Shadow, Alec Baldwin, battles his nemesis, Mr. Khan, who is building an atomic bomb. Will he be able to save the city in time? Will he be able to rescue his love and her father? Only time will tell. Tune in to find out. Back to you, Matt.
I like that.
Like a newscast.
I know. I like that. How will it all end? Tune in to find out. This was one of the earliest movies that I can ever remember watching. I remember my father bringing home the VHS tape. So I guess it had already been in theaters. So we're probably talking, if it was July 94 when it came out, so we're probably talking late 94 when this memory happened. My dad brought home the VHS tape, and him, my mom, and myself, I guess my brother was there. He was born in 93. So I guess he was there too. I don't remember him being there, but maybe he was in the crib or something somewhere. But we all sat around and watched The Shadow. I remember there's that scene in the beginning It's with the flying knife, and the knife bites the Baldwin's hand. It's kind of blood run. I remember for the longest time, I wasn't allowed to watch that scene anymore after we watched it the first time. I guess because of the blood. I don't know. My mom thought it was violent. But I was fascinated, and out of it came my appreciation for Alec Baldwin. And I've kind of admired him ever since as an actor. You can talk about his personal life, but as an actor, I've always enjoyed him. It was the same kind of thing with Michael Keaton growing up watching Batman at a young age, and then ironically, they're both in Beetlejuice. So again, I know this. I'm always hoping that one day this will become a cult classic and would eventually pick up the steam that it deserved, I thought. But I know it's not a great movie, but I do think it's a good movie. It's a different kind of superhero movie. It's not your DC. It's not your Marvel. It changes the pace. And overall, I just think it was something that they tried that I wish would have stuck, but didn't, because it wasn't your Batman or your Superman or whatever. As far as where I picture this, I do picture watching this again. I've watched it my entire life. I will watch it again at some point. So I enjoy this, and that's all I got to say for now.
You want to go or you want to go?
I think that I'm going to take a break from talking, and I'd love to hear your view on this.
Oh, yeah.
Sure will.
Okay. So I had never heard of this before, like this character or this movie. And I know, Matt, you were talking about that Batman was kind of influenced, the character of Batman was influenced by this character, who originally you said was on radio, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And this movie takes place in the 1930s. So being said, like, I didn't know what to expect. You were saying the opening scene kind of bring into this little bit cheesy type of thing, where they're going back and forth with the knife. So the overall thing, this movie is cheesy, but this movie is great. I really, 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 really enjoyed this movie.
Wow.
It was so much fun. And it was goofy, but it was funny, but it was the tones of it were, it was, I don't know what else to say other than I enjoyed it. I really loved the set design. Whoever, they had put a lot of time and effort into doing this set, doing the costumes, doing all this stuff to make it look realistically like 1930s, this gothic type of era, which, and you can definitely see the references to Batman in there, like not the references too, but what inspired Batman and where he got some of the things from, and the character, likeness a little bit. I really enjoyed Alec Baldwin in this. The only thing I did not care for was when he put on the shadow type of outfit, and like his face was like very weird. And every time I saw it, it was kind of really creepy because it looks like, it reminds me of something. I don't know what it is, but like, honestly, he just has like a block nose. And I'm like, what are they trying to, like, I guess to make it like, so he's like still anonymous, I assume is why. But other than that, that was my only thing. I think the cheesiness of it adds to the value of the movie, because you wouldn't like, it wouldn't all go together if you didn't have those certain moments. So I appreciate the cheesiness that they were. I don't think like it was intentional, obviously, but looking back on it now, when this is what, almost 30 years later, and you're like, okay, it's not going to be up to like the standards of CGI now, but for what it was in 1994, I really think it was a great film. And I would watch this again because I really enjoyed it. And like, there was a scene with like Tim Curry, where Tim Curry and Alec Baldwin go into the sphere, like whatever it was supposed to be like, and they're going back and forth. And I don't know, it was just, that was one of my most memorable scenes of it. It was good. It was like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I really enjoyed it. I could picture myself watching this again. I probably will, because it was good. I'm actually a little sad that they didn't do anything else with this.
There was There was originally supposed to be a sequel, but the money just wasn't there to do it, and
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because I know there was originally talks of doing either a straight to video sequel or a theatrical sequel, but it just never happened.
That's a shame. I enjoyed it. Alec Baldwin. I mean, I watched Beetlejuice. I started Beetlejuice the other day after we had started watching this because I was like, Alec Baldwin. Like, yeah, I don't feel like I like have watched too many Alec Baldwin things besides like 30 Rock or what have you, Beetlejuice. But I rewatched Beetlejuice again because I saw him in the shadow and I was like, okay, you can appreciate that this dude has range and he can go back and forth between those films. But anyway, it was very good. I liked it very much. Thumbs up.
Man, what really could be said more on the shadow than what we've just gone through? Truthfully, when we're looking back at the history of what entertainment was for us as Americans, especially back in the 30s, there were radio broadcasts. Whether that was in the form of The Shadow, Charlie McCarthy, Dick Tracy eventually takes the scene, even down to Batman's, I understand, some other ones that, period comics, things of that nature. Shadow grew to also be involved in what was called, was it pulp magazines? So almost like little comic books of the time. And a lot of elements apparently from both the radio show and the pulp comics or pulp magazines were added into this movie. I think that it tried to be very respectful to the source material, including the fact that he walked around with his guns in the end from the pulp magazine, the laugh, which I believe was incorporated from the radio broadcasts. And just the time that this hit the wave, I'd have to look to see when The Phantom came out. I'd have to look when Dick Tracy, the movie, was released. But apparently, there was a little bit of a resurgence there where we wanted to have these characters brought back. As Matt stated, apparently the Shadow served as a model for Batman. I mean, we have a lot of parallels. We have this gentleman that, he's pretty well off. I think in the comic he was actually, or I'm sorry, over the radio broadcast, he was a World War I fighting ace, which they called the Black Eagle. If I'm saying this incorrectly, please let me know. But they had like a little ode to that. What's his name in the Lamont Cranston, which they pulled through. But his when he was in Asia, they called him. Do you remember, Matt?
Linko or Yinko or something.
Yinko, which apparently directly translates to what he was called in the radio broadcast. So they're very aware of his history. He has a little network going on. It seems very futuristic. Granted, it's not the time of the Batcave and supercomputers and things of that nature, but the network he had all over town with all of his informants. Even there was an inspector that was in this film that leaves the crime scene of the where the guard was murdered at the museum. And apparently he plays a prominent role in the story as well, and is the foundation for the Gordon character that you see in Batman. So we don't see him a lot in this movie, but he is the basis for him in the Batman series. So without him, we wouldn't have the Batman. And I love the Batman franchise, especially recently. We're getting back into more of a detective feel, kind of. But with this, it's we're righting wrongs. We're making amends for the evil in our hearts. Even the lines that were brought into this movie were taken directly from that broadcast, brought in over. But overall, I agree with Kayla. I love the aesthetics. I don't know what it is about the older cars in movies. I love seeing them. It kills me when they get blown up and smashed to smithereens, and they probably did do that with the actual ones on set. But just the whole idea that he's able to cast his mirage over himself, to hide himself, and that his enemy, the Khan, is a master of this as well. The art of deception and manipulation, and shrouds an entire building in the middle of the city. The facts that it was brought over. But overall, just wanted to say, very good pick. I think it deserved a lot better reception than what it got, and the scores, I really can't believe where they sit currently. Maybe not enough attention to this movie in today's time, but I think that for the rewatch factor, I definitely rewatch it, and really good pick. So thank you for sharing that.
I'm very happy that you both enjoyed it. I was kind of nervous. I just knew one of you were going to crap on it.
No, and that's like thinking about this, it's actually really nice to be doing this because these, and I've probably said this before, these movies, some of these movies are things I would not watch on my own unless they were like recommended by one of you guys. And I think there's been a couple, especially Mr. Mom, which I go back to, which I probably will watch again this year because I love that movie. I would not have watched if it not had been recommended to me or we were doing this. So it's really nice to find a movie that you'll come back to, you know, that's kind of like you wouldn't have given it a chance. Kind of like the same with a book, you know, you can't judge it by its cover. So.
And I know Matt's having, or maybe having, some video difficulty here in a moment. I know some behind the scenes things where the video might cut off because of the battery. So if we lose him, sorry. But before we lose him, I think we need to go down the line real quick. And I think we pretty much know where we're all going with this. Would you picture yourself watching this again, or do we picture it in the trash can for us?
This is definitely a picture this watching 100 more times for me.
Yes, I picture myself on my couch watching the movie again.
Yep, I picture this thumbs up of approval. Apparently that's going to be a thing for us down the line. So definitely would watch this again.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. So how did you picture The Shadow? Did you watch it? Are you going to watch it? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about the movie. If you hated it, if you think it belongs in the trash and you're right there with the critics, let us know. You know, maybe we're the crazy ones, you know? But hey, so thank you, everybody. We've got a couple more things to do before we wrap up. Kayla is going to reveal her pick, but just in case, as Dan said, I may cut off here. So I'm going to actually spin the wheel in case I go away. So we're going to find out what we're going to talk about after Kayla's pick next week. And then she'll reveal her pick and then we'll sign off.
Okay.
So I have the wheel. Shout out to my brother, Mitchell.
Yes, thank you, Mitchell.
Who, or Mitch, I guess, as he likes, who went, because I obviously am in a different location. So he went to my house and picked this up while we were recording. So we're going to spin. I actually see, I didn't write, we got a blank spot. So hopefully we don't land on that. That was a superhero spot that we are currently doing. So it is my turn to spin. So I'm going to spin the wheel and find out what we're talking about in 2 weeks from now. Okay?
Sweet.
All right. Favorite director is what we landed on.
Okay.
So there you
a
go.
Film from our favorite director.
A film from our favorite director. So this will be interesting. I don't know what I'm going to pick, but I know who I'm going to pick. So after we wrap up the superhero movies next week, we're going to be talking about directors. So I'm going to turn it over to Kayla. Hopefully I'm back, but if not, Miss Kayla, what is your pick as we bring home the superhero genre?
Okay, so we've all picked kind of things that aren't mainstream. I guess mine, I mean, not typically mainstream. Like when I'm saying superhero, we're thinking Marvel, of course, now, DC, what have you. But the movie that I pick for my pick is The Crow from 1994.
Wow.
I have never seen this movie, but looking it up, it does say it is considered a superhero type of Avenger movie. You can find this, you have to have a subscription through like Stars, but you can rent it on Vudu and I believe through Amazon as well for like $2.99. So I know this is like a cult classic. I'm looking forward to this movie. I don't really know what to expect. But that is my superhero pick for next week and to cap off our superhero category. So
Wow. It's been years since I've seen that movie, so I'm excited.
yeah.
Say, believe in angels.
I wouldn't have guessed that to be your pick, so that's very cool. Anything else from you guys?
No, thank you for introducing me and myself to the Shadow.
Dan, somewhere, Dan, I think in my attic I still have the Alec Baldwin Lamont Cranston figure that from our childhood. I'll have to see if I can get it out one of these days.
Yeah, we actually used to have a couple. There was a little black one, and then there was one you could shine something through the back and he'd light up or something. Like,
Yeah, yeah. They had everything. They had the little cars, the yellow taxi. It was a whole thing. They don't make toys like they used to. But that's it for this week, everybody. I'm gonna hurry up and wrap up. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. We're Mondays and Thursdays now, 2 episodes a week. Next week, we're talking about The Crow. It is streaming on Stars, as Kayla mentioned. Everybody have a great week and love one another.
Bye.
thank you guys.
Thank you.